Bitcoin mining stocks have been underperforming Bitcoin for the past years. Whether it's Mara Digital Holdings, CleanSpark, or Riot Platforms, all the mining companies are subject to huge short interest, meaning investors are betting on falling stock prices for mining companies. I will explain why these short attacks are not sustainable and why mining stocks have a huge short-term potential, especially Mara Digital Holdings. Let's go. Bitcoin mining stocks essentially do one thing: mine Bitcoin. And to do that, they need so-called ASICs miners. These miners are very costly and consume lots of energy. Energy and equipment costs lead to high operational costs for mining companies. So most of the time, they operate under a thin margin, which leaves them with a low profit after these expenses. If additionally the Bitcoin price is very volatile, there's a high level of uncertainty about the profitability of these companies. Fixed costs are huge in the crypto mining industry, and mining companies need to raise capital to afford building mining farms and buy the latest mining technology. This capital is most often raised through debt. So this leaves us with a highly cost-intensive, thin margin and high debt industry. Doesn't sound all too well, does it? But here's the thing. If the Bitcoin these companies mine increases in price, profits increase as well. And all of a sudden, margins aren't as thin as they used to be during the consolidation phase of Bitcoin. But there's also another problem: the halving. The Bitcoin halving occurs every 4 years and cuts the block reward Bitcoin miners receive for solving one block in half. So this year's Bitcoin halving cut the block reward from 6.25 to 3.125 Bitcoins. So from one day to the other, they get only half as many Bitcoins. In the past, the Bitcoin price has doubled around that time of the halving, so mining companies receive half the Bitcoins that are worth double as much. For investors, this is another uncertainty, since who guarantees the Bitcoin price will double every halving? But enough with the uncertainties that caused the mining companies to suffer during the last years. Let's look at the reasons that, after our analysis, will be responsible for the incoming or already lasting increase in stock price for companies like Mara. The first one is pretty obvious. Bitcoin almost hit 100K this November, which increases mining profits by a lot. With increasing profits come increasing stock prices. But there's more than that, especially in the US, where most of the mining companies are situated. Trump announced that the US would become the Bitcoin capital of the world.
If crypto is going to define the future, I want to be mined, minted, and made in the USA.
This clear message is extremely bullish for miners. The Biden administration repeatedly attacked the mining industry by proposing taxes as high as 30% for this industry. Now that Biden will soon be gone, Trump's crypto-friendly approach will most likely support the mining industry in the US. I'm not sure whether Trump understands Bitcoin completely, but he, as a businessman, definitely figured the potential of this industry and therefore promised his support. We don't know what that support might look like in the future, but from tax cuts to regulatory clarity, a lot can be done to make America the Bitcoin capital of the world. MicroStrategy is all over the news and finally caught the attention of big Wall Street companies. The stock outperformed Nvidia and Bitcoin this year and did all that just by buying Bitcoin? If mining companies generate Bitcoins that Michael Saylor has to buy, then why are they still lagging behind? The reason is that miners have to sell portions of their generated Bitcoins to cover expenses like energy costs and new mining hardware. But after noticing MicroStrategy's incredible run this year, some miners have figured it would be best for them to hold an increasing amount of Bitcoins or even raise capital to purchase Bitcoins and copy Saylor's strategy. Mara Digital Holdings, our personal favorite, is the prime example of that. As of last week, they hold 33,875 bitcoins and mine over 700 bitcoins a month. This month, they raised $1 billion at a 0% interest rate to buy Bitcoin. Exactly as Sailor does it. Mara Holdings is no longer just a mining company. It is set to become the second largest Bitcoin holding company and the largest mining company. That's probably also why investment giant BlackRock holds around 15% of the shares of Mara Digital Holdings. BlackRock has a huge influence on the Bitcoin price, and CEO Larry Fink is bullish on Bitcoin. So BlackRock also secured their ownership in the largest mining company. Looking into the future when it comes to Bitcoin stocks, Mara and MicroStrategy have one decisive difference as of today. MicroStrategy is trading at its all-time high and has to spot buy Bitcoins on the market, meaning they pay the current Bitcoin price for each Bitcoin they purchase. Other than Mara, who, in addition to buying Bitcoin for spot prices, has the ability to mine Bitcoin at a cost level of around $50,000 per Bitcoin. Assuming a Bitcoin price of 100K, Mara is able to stack Bitcoins at half the price MicroStrategy does. And Mara is trading at less than half of its all-time high. Wallstreet is slowly understanding the real value behind Bitcoin and the power it has on balance sheets, especially after the sentiment change initiated by Trump's election. In my opinion, it is only a matter of time until Wall Street acknowledges that MicroStrategy is not the only Bitcoin stock and realizes the potential behind Mara as well. But until then, there's still time to stack Mara shares, as we are doing ourselves, which is no financial advice. Thank you for tuning in, and now I want to know, what is your opinion about Mara Digital Holdings and other Bitcoin mining stocks? I will be happy to reply to every comment under this video. See you in the next one.